Hello everyone, and greetings. Welcome to the latest part of my Bloodborne effective run. If I'm correct, this is part 11. Today we'll be doing the first bit of the Forbidden Woods, but primarily unlocking as many areas as we can possibly get access to. At this point, we have beaten Amelia, and our goal at this juncture in the LP, or rather this playthrough, I want to get a +9 weapon as soon as possible. I don't really go too far out of my way. I have actually done the math in a few areas and determined it is possible. I'm pretty sure it's close to possible, at least, without farming. When we cover the areas that we unlock, I'll be going in more detail about the potential chunks that are available. There are a few in the Forbidden Woods, there are some in Cainhurst Castle, and there are some in the DLC we can get without fighting a boss. Now, I think I do end up leveling up the weapon either to +7 or +8 before fighting another boss, but you know, like that is the MO for me in this playthrough. Now, one thing I do want to preface, I do like the Forbidden Woods and everything, but it is probably my least, I don't know if I do like it. It is my least favorite area outside of Chalice Dungeons. And I don't even mind Chalice Dungeons all that much. Oh, by the way, here's I think this is our last execution. So say goodbye. There might be one more in the woods here, but this is the last area where we're going to see that enemy. And that's that. So I don't really plan on progressing too far through the woods in this particular run, or this particular video. I am going to dedicate a episode to them, and it is going to be a longer episode. The Forbidden Woods are a massive expanse of land, and I'm going to see if potentially I hopefully can get Dylan or maybe someone from the Bloodborne subreddit to join me in commentary for that particular episode. I just find the Forbidden Woods difficult to talk about. Now, behind the door there, we have this game's real equivalent of Solaire, or Lord Buckethead, if you prefer. It is the opportunity to join a group within Bloodborne called the Legion. I think. I'll have to double check that. But they unlock extra NPCs, and you can join this group, I believe, if you own the DLC. I know that they came with the DLC. I'm not sure if it is required to own the DLC to have access to them. Now, when I talk about the Forbidden Woods, well, I should really talk about that in the episode, but I traditionally just tend to sprint through here. My weapon's pretty much already gotten all the fruits and benefits that the Forbidden Woods has to offer. As you can see, the main drop now is the twin bloodstone shards. So I usually sprint right for Yosefka's clinic, get that unlocked, then get my Cainhurst summons, and then run through the Forbidden Woods. Just to unlock the area, looting what I find interesting. We're not going to do that today. First, we're going to come up to this house. This is the first house we've spoken with since talking with Amelia.
Oh, a hunter of beasts, are you? Glory be. You know not the value you possess. But more's the pity. The hours of the night are many, and the beasts more than I can count. A veritable hunt unending. Not even death offers solace, and the blood imbibes you. A most frightful fate. Oh my. But I'm willing to do you a kindness. step lightly round to the right of the great cathedral and seek an ancient, shrouded church. The gift of the Godhead will grant you strength. Yes, I'm unquestionably certain.
Now, for those of you who are familiar with the Soulsborne series, you should recognize that voice. For those of you who are not, I'm not going to spoil it. A tonsil stone, a latticed, deformed rock, or perhaps a meteorite, appears useless but possesses an odd gravitational force that prevents its riddance. So the idea there is you can't throw it away. It's attracted to you. This is probably part of the whole twist, or horror twist, if you will, for this game. So now I'm going to run into here. This is actually quite a small area. I remember the first time I came across it, I was like, oh great, it's Blighttown. It is not Blighttown. It's just a small little, I think lake might be a generous term. It is it is a large poisoned pond that we have to run through. Maybe a bog. I'm not sure. I need to look up my body of water terminology. But there's some useful items in here, and this is going to be the first area where I do not in any way, shape, or form recommend fighting. Poison in Bloodborne. Let's talk about poison in the Dark Souls series. In Bloodborne, it is probably the most annoying and deadly, I would argue, in the entire series. It builds up so quickly. To the point that, using an antidote is more of just a waste if you happen to still be standing in it. And it chunks down your health pretty considerably. Pretty similar to a level that it does, I would say, in Dark Souls 2. In Dark Souls 1 and 3, you can ignore it relatively, just keep an eye out, make sure it doesn't get too low. And that's the same strategy I recommend here. But it definitely chews through your materials, and you have to pay attention to it much more heavily. In Dark Souls 2, while it is pretty substantial what it does to you, you can just pop 2 or 3 life gems and completely ignore the poison mechanic once you do that, as long as you can see. In Dark Souls 1, luckily it's just a slow enough degradation that it's more of a motivation rather than an actual threat. And same with Dark Souls 3. Fast poison would be the other type of poison, while though slow poison feels very fast. Fast poison is this game's equivalent of bleed. It takes a set amount of HP off, and it's just really quick and fast. And then it's over. So that's the mechanic, so to speak, there. Here we're opening a door, and we should be in a very familiar looking area. You should recognize now if you've been following the playthrough or have played the game. We're back in Yosefka's clinic, and that was the door we couldn't open at the very beginning of the game. This gives us access to the other side of the shop, so to speak.
Oh, hello. You made it. Find any survivors? Or only beasts? Tell anyone who's human about Yosefka's clinic. I will take proper care of them. They're in your hands, and soon mine.
Now, how to put this? So, if you've paid attention to Yosefka at the beginning of the game, you'll note that she had no interest in letting you in, someone she was even attracted to, be it romantically or sexually or in a platonic friendly manner. She was very interested in meeting the hunter towards the end of her questline. Now, we did spoil it, but that is clearly not only a different voice, but a completely different motivation as well. So, we're going to figure out what's going on by finding our own way in there. it becomes an option as a safe place that you can send people, and I do intend on sending one party left there. If you'll notice, in the previous episode, the old beggar mentioned that there's nobody left, or probably nobody left, and that's the hint that, you know, you don't really need to send anybody more into the safe place, and it's actually a warning that you should pay attention to, because there is one more person who's going to ask for a safe place, and you should not send them to the safe place. We'll cover them as we go through the Forbidden Woods, and when we revisit Yosefka's clinic. So here we're on the other side of the door that we couldn't get past at the very beginning of the game. And we get to actually see the clinic itself and some of the work that's been going on here. We just walked by a, how do you say, hospital bed, I guess. These are Victorian hospital beds. And we have some interesting looking individuals on them. And it's kind of clear that things are not as direct as they initially seem anymore. There's more than just healing going on. And we get our exact preview of that right here, unfortunately. This is where we pick up our Cainhurst summons, which is important. Not very aggressive at first. I think I ended up breaking the AI loop, standing where I was, because I ended up making this, they're aliens, that's what I'm going to call them, aggressive. But we find that they're not quite the aliens we expected when we get our loot drop there of the Yosefka's blood vial. Think about who was giving those to us at the beginning of the game, and specifically where they were standing. But as I said, we got our Cainhurst summons here, and so you do need to come here if you want to unlock Castle Cainhurst. Castle Cainhurst is the first place that you get access to where you can farm for bloodstone chunks to get your +9 weapon. And it's not a bad idea to do that, but it's a long farm. It's a very small drop.
Ah, moonlit scents. How did you worm your way in here? Very unfortunate. I had such high hopes for you. Well, I won't make any excuses. Would you mind leaving us alone? Things need not change. You'll do the rescuing, and I'll do the saving. But if you refuse to leave... Oh well. I've always wanted to try my hand on a hunter.
Now, she does have something I want, and I need to get it before I fight the boss that progresses the world state, Rom, or progress past that point. But I really do want to send someone here to show off what happens. So I actually hold off on fighting her for now. If you wait until after you defeat Rom and you get into the final world state where all of the horrors in town are revealed, you can no longer get the rune from her, and instead you get one of the 4 1/3 umbilical cords, and you only need 3 of them. And we will be getting 3 in fighting that boss, but I will not be getting hers, because I prefer her rune. It gives 2 bullets back every time I get a visceral attack, and with Perry Fisher here, that's a very powerful rune.
Oh, a hunter of beasts, are you?
Notice, this isn't our friend.
Glory be. You know not the value you possess.
I couldn't figure out how to show it. I was trying to see if I could see him.
The hours of the night are many, and the beasts
Because, you know, he'll move anywhere around town until you do as instructed and go to the top of the cathedral where you fought Amelia, and then run down to the church where we got our twin bloodstone shards next to those executioners. And after that, he'll then leave you alone.
Welcome home. What is it? Very well. Let me...
I've lost my train of thought. But yes, like I said, he'll appear in any door except for 2. I found, I was surprised he was not in the doors next to the cathedral. He must just not have a path to get there. So like I said, be on the hunt and look out for bloodstone chunks. I'm going to try to, note how many we do have access to before fighting another boss. And I might even try to point out where they are. If I can find guides. I'll at least find a written description as to where they are located within the areas we have unlocked. I know that there are a few in the DLC, which we're about to unlock soon. There are a few in the Forbidden Woods, which we just ran through a little bit. And there are definitely a few freestanding in Castle Cainhurst as well. There's also a few in the Nightmare, which will be relatively unlocked after going through the lecture building, which we unlock, well, we'll see that in just a second here. Oh, second's a strong word. We'll see that in a little bit here. And I was personally a few short of getting to the +9 state. I think I got the +8, which is still super strong. I think the next set of mandatory bosses, they expect you to be at the level we are now. They expect you to have achieved a +6 weapon, and after ROM, start working on your +9. There's no reason we can't have a +9 prior to ROM, though. Especially if you start diving into Chalice dungeons at this point, or anything like that. I did want to talk about Chalice dungeons. As we are going to unlock the DLC. I'm going to hold off until we do unlock that area, though.
Fiends, their children too. And their children forever true.
So we've unlocked the DLC. If you're still short on a few things, you can sprint through here, grab items. There's some decent blood gems. I'm not ready to visit through there though. I have a compulsion to fight things usually, and running through there and getting what I would want to get is awfully far to die and repeat, especially while recording. And now we're going to run over to the left and unlock the next area. That's Violet, invisible, a monstrous horror. This is the direction that the spy Patches, the man who gave us the tonsil stone through the house and keeps appearing in houses, gave us. Like he told us we should go this way and approach the large structure. Notice he doesn't go into these houses. I guess they're just too loud for him to get a word in edgewise. Maybe they're screaming because they're seeing him in their house. Who knows? If you're sprinting here, you don't really need to be as careful as I'm trying to be. And in fact, it ends up costing me. You'll see that in just a second. These guys, even at my strong level, are super dangerous with their "this is Sparta" kick. The tracking on that's a little nuts and hard to get around. You need to dodge. You can't. Well, you might not need to dodge, but you definitely can't just walk around them and get it. You probably need to back off or something. There is a group of people that have played this game and the other Souls games without sprinting or jumping. Well, maybe jumping, but without sprinting or dodging in combat. And I really want to find a playthrough of that, so just to watch it and see how bad I am at these games compared to them.
Have mercy on the poor bastard.
And here we've made it to the lecture building, which will lead us to another area, and we'll cover that in another episode. But I wanted to get on the subject of Chalice Dungeons. Like I said, I don't really plan on showing them off in this particular run-through of the game. But I did recently pick it back up and start playing. And I would say that Chalice Dungeons are, if you had a really good time and you're wanting to min-max the absolute bejesus out of your character with the best blood gems and getting more exos, it's a way to access like New Game Plus iteration levels of echoes very early. Especially after you unlock some of the more difficult Chalice Dungeons, where things get scaled up pretty intensely. And it's definitely good if you want to make a PvP-centric character that you have to go through that. Although if you don't want to go through the grind, there are several charts. In my arcane playthrough, I started using those charts to do that. What we're doing now is we're heading to Cainhurst. And in order to do that, we've got to get in this totally reasonable Uber that we have a pass for, luckily enough. I was watching Prod, and he was doing his Blood Level 4 run, and I did not know that it worked this way, but he hit the horses, and they disappeared. And he had to reload the area to get the carriage to come back. I found that quite humorous. But yeah, so I ventured back in with my arcane character, because I just couldn't keep up with my weapons of choice. Now I've got some good arcane weapons. So one thing I want to point out is the direction that we just got pulled is a bridge that has a clear drop-off, and for these horses that are very hairy, it didn't seem to be a problem. You know, we get into a scary vampire-looking castle. Once again, I want to point out you can immediately see the bridge is already out where we are. How did we get here? Who knows? I don't know. I don't remember how long it took me to turn around. Oh, I was thinking of ending the episode, but I didn't. I want to point out, though, the horses that brought us here are kind of dead. I do apologize for all the skipping in this video. The recording technology, I guess, having a rough time. I think it's just the Elgato software occasionally skipping. I did end up eventually changing over to OBS, and that seemed to do a better job, and it also helped me in the situation of if there's a crash, whether I'd lose it. Anyway, we have unlocked all the bonus areas that we can at this point. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you're staying safe. Have a wonderful day.